Is it time to call it quits on John Eustace? Is it time for Derby County to make some changes? There's many different decisions that can be made by David Clowes and those in charge over the course of the next few weeks, but ultimately it's going to be one in regards to that of John Eustace's future. Now, over the course of the last couple of seasons, we've seen David Clowes give back into Paul Warne. He then gave him further back in last season before eventually sacking him at the end of the January transfer window. And ultimately, it's not gone too well for John Eustace at the start of this campaign, with Derby County looking like they're going to be in a relegation battle. But what is going to change, and when is it going to change? You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell. But let's get into it. Now, obviously, it's been a hugely disappointing start to the campaign at Derby County. And in the EFL Championship, it's been piss poor, for no want of a better word. And I'm absolutely devastated by what we're seeing on the pitch at Derby County. I'm absolutely devastated by the performances. This wasn't what I anticipated from Derby County under John Eustace. I genuinely thought we'd be sitting comfortably mid-table, maybe 3 or 4 wins by this point. But ultimately, we can't hold on to a lead. We can't even get in the lead, and it's absolutely diabolical. Now, there's a range of different things that I'm going to talk about in this video, from statistics to the league table and all things like that. But before we do that, I just want to know what your thoughts are. I'm going to put a poll over on my YouTube community so that you guys can go and vote. So make sure you go down there and vote on that. But let's just talk through some of these statistics then. So, obviously, Derby County, 10 games played, 1 win, 5 draws and 4 defeats. 11 goals scored, 16 conceded, -5 on goal difference and just 8 points. Not 1 in 5. I think it's probably more than that, to be fair. With 2 losses in the final 5. Obviously, 3 draws in there as well, which is, it's okay, but you want a bit more than a draw, don't you? Like Southampton, we should have won. Charlton, we should have won. Wrexham, we should have won. We've just been absolutely diabolical. Now, if we do look at the team numbers, now I put a post up on Twitter, I think it was last night, because people are talking about how it's entitled to want John Eustace gone and things like that, and entitled to want things to change. But here are just some of the key numbers. We're 21st in the league table. We're 19th in terms of goals conceded. We're 21st in terms of average possession. 20th in terms of clean sheets. 24th in terms of XG. 24th in terms of shots on target. 23rd on big chances missed. We're 20th in terms of accurate passes. We're 20th in terms of accurate crosses. 19th in terms of goals conceded. 5th in terms of XG conceded. And 1st in terms of saves per match. And I think, realistically, I think if anybody has a brain and anybody uses their eyes watching the game of football, they'll know that Derby County are in real trouble right now. And I mean, like, genuine trouble, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we aren't even showing glimpses of being a good team. We aren't showing glimpses of being a team that can battle at the top end of this division or even in mid-table. And to be completely honest with you, we were worse now than we were this time last year. I think this time last year we had, I think it was 13 points on the board. I think we were sitting about 12th or 13th. And the problem that we had last year was, as much as we had chances to score, we didn't have a striker to put them away. Now this summer we spent, what, £8 million on a striker. We've bought in Carlton Morris. We've bought in Ryan Brewster, Bobby Clark, Ben Brereton Diaz. And we're creating nothing. Literally nothing. And it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing to watch this Derby County team play football. It is embarrassing to be a fan of this Derby County team at the moment. And I genuinely don't know when it's going to change or how it's going to change with John Eustace as the manager, if I'm completely honest. Now, I'm not going to turn around and say that I want John Eustace gone or this, that and the other, or that I'm part of the John Eustace out community, because ultimately, I would rather have a manager that's in charge for 20, 30 years and is massively successful, takes us to the Premier League, keeps us in the Premier League, and you just go on and go on. But ultimately, under John Eustace, right now, based on the performances that we're seeing today, at the moment, I can't see where the next win's coming from, let alone the next goal, let alone let alone the next point. Like, genuinely, I just think we're so bad at the moment. And I honestly, some of you will have probably seen my video from yesterday evening talking about John Eustace. Some of you may have seen my watch along yesterday. I was so bored watching the game, and I think that obviously rubs off on you guys as well. And I think if you do obviously look at the numbers on the channel and stuff, when we're winning, it's good. When we're losing, it is bad. And I need Derby County to win games. I need us to be in promotion battles. I need us to have a good manager, because ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're winning games, everybody wants to hear about it. Everybody wants to discuss it. But ultimately, at the moment for Derby County, it has been absolutely diabolical. And with John Eustace in charge, is it going to change? I don't really know. And I don't see how it's going to change, because it's just not been good enough. I genuinely just can't see a way that Derby County become a formidable side, become a side that starts winning games again, because we're not showing any defensive positivity. We're not showing anything good going forwards. We're genuinely a god-awful team. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about, well, what manager are you going to go and get if John Eustace goes? And honestly, to that question, I don't know. And I'm genuinely glad that I don't have to make that decision, because as much as I love watching a former player in John Eustace manage Derby County, I also know that it really can't get worse than what it is at the moment. And that is what is sort of difficult for me right now, is that we're probably in the worst position we could possibly be in on the 19th of October. And we're 5 games away from another international break, and we could be going into that international break sitting in the relegation zone. And I don't want that. John Eustace doesn't want that. The players don't want that. David Clowes doesn't want that. And I'm sure for those of you watching this video, if you have got this far, you don't want that either. And I know there's plenty and plenty of Derby County fans out there that want to give John Eustace the back in. And I do put myself in that category. I want the back in there. But ultimately, back in is earned. It can't just be given out willy-nilly. And I personally don't think there's anything from Derby County at the moment to show that that back in is deserved under the management of John Eustace for me. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. I do know that people will have their own opinions. Obviously, if you at the start of the video, you'll see that I have put a poll up on YouTube community, so make sure you go and check that out. Would you be Eustace in? Are you Eustace out? And obviously, let me know your thoughts on potential candidates for taking over the job should John Eustace get sacked. Because I do think there's got to be some out there. There's got to be some positive managers out there. But ultimately, they're not here yet, and that's the problem that we're facing. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens with John Eustace and whether he stays at Derby County, what David Clowes chooses to do. And obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. But if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.